Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. So today we're going to be diving into the world of large language models, and I thought it would be really cool to kind of like do a deep dive on ChatGPT, and it's one of the biggest examples of large language models. And large language models are like things like ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and I thought like starting off a series just explaining ChatGPT from the ground up will be really good and kind of like give you a very basic understanding of what it is and what it can do. So I am going to be doing a series of videos on ChatGPT and what it can do specifically on ChatGPT, but the things that we're going to go through with ChatGPT are also things that we can carry off and do with other large language models. So my name is Ian Ching, and on this specific channel we are going to explore the exciting and sometimes very confusing world of artificial intelligence. I'm going to give you like a beginner's guide on ChatGPT. It's kind of like give you a top down or like bottom up example, or I'll be taking you through a beginner's course on ChatGPT and just improving and expanding concepts from the ground up to give you like a very solid foundation. And this course is going to take you from knowing absolutely nothing about ChatGPT to using it very confidently in your everyday tasks. So we're going to cover everything from the very basics to what it is, how it can be used, how you can use it for you like be more productive, how you can use it for creativity, and how you can also use it to create content. And the reason why I think this matters is because we are on the brink of artificial intelligence. It is just starting right now. You're not late. No one is late. We are in the beginning of this, and understanding how ChatGPT works, understanding how you can use it is going to help you with more complicated AI systems that are coming. I think this is going to be as big as probably. I think it's going to be as big as the computer or even bigger. I think a computer, I mean internet. I think it's going to be bigger than that. So learning how to interact with AI, learning how to interact with ChatGPT, it's like the very basic one, is going to really help you with more projects that are going to require a bit more complicated AI systems. So that's what this series is about. It's for people who do not know anything about ChatGPT, who do not know anything about artificial intelligence. And in this specific video, we're just going to answer like the fundamental question, what is ChatGPT? And then we're going to break it down in a way that you can grasp, even if you do not really know anything about AI. So let's get on to it. Okay, cool. So the first part is we're going to demystify ChatGPT. We're going to demystify artificial intelligence. And a very simple explanation of ChatGPT that I've had is it is simply a very sophisticated or a very intelligent chatbot. And what this means is we had chatbots a long time ago, like on various sites where you can go and you can ask them questions. And these were chatbots that were trained on very specific data. So for example, if you're on an internet site and it was about a clothing line, so it will only answer questions about clothes. But now we are at a point where we have a chatbot that can answer questions about almost anything, any topic that you can think of. And that's kind of like a very good way of thinking about it. So ChatGPT is a large language model that was developed by OpenAI. And I don't think it was 2021. So in September 2021, it's when it came out. And you can have conversations with it where you can chat, send it a message, and then it's going to send you a message back. And to start off, the name ChatGPT. So the chat is obviously comes from you chatting, you sending it a text, and then it sends a text back. And then the GPT is generative pre-trained transformer. So generative is because it can generate text, new text, not just text that it has been trained on, but it can come up with new information or new text depending on your specific question. And then pre-trained just means that it has been trained on massive amounts of data from the internet. So a lot of data from the internet has been scraped and then it was trained on that. And then transformer is more or less the architecture that was used to kind of like train it. So we're going to go into that later on. So you don't really need to know the ins and outs. So that's just a very good way of kind of like getting an idea of what it is. So another really crucial knowledge gap that you should not have, or something that you really should know, is ChatGPT's knowledge has a cutoff point. So currently we're in February of 2025 and the knowledge cutoff point is in June 2024. So what that means is that the data that it has been trained on is up to June 2024. So right now, you on the free version, they have it in a way that now you can access the internet. So if you have any questions, it can go to the internet and answer questions. But if you are not, if for example you do not have access to the internet, it cannot really answer any questions beyond June of 2024. So that's just something to know. So the other question now is, what can ChatGPT do? What are its capabilities? So the main thing for you to start off with is you kind of have to know what a prompt is. So a prompt is simply the text that you type into ChatGPT and to tell it what you want. So it's like giving instructions or asking a question. So for example, if you ask it, what is the capital city of China? That question, what is the capital city of China, is a prompt. It's a very fancy word for just a question. So that is more, it's a query, it's a question that you ask an AI. So for example, even if you're using any other language model, if you're using any image generating software, the question that you put in or the text that you put into that AI, that's what we call a prompt. So I'm going to go through a couple of examples of how you can use ChatGPT. And in this one, you can use it as a personal QA bot. So for example, if you want to know something, if it's like having access to like a very vast encyclopedia. It can talk about cooking, it can talk about traveling, it can talk about anything that you are really interested in. So that's number one. So it can act as your personal QA assistant. The other use case of ChatGPT is that you can use it to summarize a lot of things. For example, if you have a blog post that you don't really have enough time to read, you can upload that blog post and then it's going to summarize it in like 3 sentences. Or even a book, if you have like the paid version, because it has like a longer context window. I'm going to explain that. Yeah, so if you don't really have time to read an article, ChatGPT can summarize it for you in seconds. So that's the other use case, is that you can use it to summarize. Yeah, so these are just example prompts where you can paste the article and then summarize this article in 3 bullet points. So that's just an example that you can use. The other use case that we have is content creation assistant. So if you're struggling with like writer's block and you need help with your social media post, you need to write it in a certain way, in a certain tone, ChatGPT can help you generate that. So for example, write a short poem about a cat sitting in a sunbeam, or create 3 different Instagram captions for this picture of a sunset. So you can upload a picture and then ask it to give you like 3 captions for it. So that's another very good useful case. Okay, and this is for ChatGPT that you pay for. So for example, right now, if you're using the free version, it has certain limits, which we're going to talk about in a bit. But you can also use it to generate images. So this is what we call multimodal. So what that means is that it can generate text, it can generate images, and it can also process audio clips. So if you have an audio that you want to get a transcript for, you can upload the audio and then it's going to transcribe that audio for you. So the fact that you can do that, it means that now it can generate text, you can also generate images, or you can also generate voice notes, or at least process voice notes. So that's why we call it a multimodal. And for example, here I asked it to give me a picture of a dog playing a violin with a hat on, like a very gentleman like. So this is the picture that it gave me, which is kind of cute actually. It's kind of cute. Okay, the other really interesting thing about ChatGPT is now it can also read emotions in a text. So this is something that's being used by a lot of companies to go through tons of reviews to know whether a product is liked or not liked by a customer. So this is what we call sentiment analysis. It's like I said, it's being used by a lot of programmers to kind of like go through a website, know which product is doing well and which product is not doing well. So if you have a website, if you have a business and customers have left reviews and you want to really know which one is doing well, which one is not doing well, and you don't want to go through each single review, you can use ChatGPT to go through all the reviews and then kind of like give you an idea of which one is doing well and which one is not doing well. It knows how to read emotions in a text. The other really cool thing about ChatGPT is that you can also use it as a language translator. So this is because it has been trained not just in English, but also in very many other languages. And it's way better than, let's say, Google Translate, because it's not going to just look at the word and then change it to that language, but it's going to look at the word and also the context of where that word is. Like, there are very many words that can be used in different scenarios but are like the same word. So for example, we have run. So run can be used to describe water running, or it can also be used to describe someone running. So those two different scenarios. And ChatGPT's ability to know the context of the word and how it has been used, it makes it a very powerful tool when it comes to language translation. Another really useful case scenario of ChatGPT is data analysis. So this is where you can upload spreadsheets or documents like PDFs, and ChatGPT can analyze that data for you. So for example, if you have sales from a specific quarter, you can upload the sales, and then it's going to give you which are the best performing products. Go through which reviews, go through the views, like we talked about in sentiment analysis. Go through how much you've made that quarter, where you need to do well. So it acts as your own personal data analyst. So we hear the word AI being thrown a lot these days, and because it's really become a buzzword, and it can confuse a lot of people, because when it comes to AI, there's a lot that goes into it. So we have artificial intelligence, we have machine learning, we have deep learning, we have generative AI, and then we have ChatGPT. So I kind of like came up with this. So the way to think about it is artificial intelligence is like the big thing. So artificial intelligence is the umbrella term. And then under artificial intelligence, we have machine learning. And then under machine learning, we have deep learning. And then after in deep learning is where we have now generative AI. And that's what ChatGPT is. It's generative AI. And this is like the AI hierarchy. It's not really a must for you to understand it in depth, but it's just good to know that AI is like the general term, the umbrella term, and after that, under that we have machine learning, and after that we have deep learning, and after that we have generative AI, and after that we have ChatGPT. So it's not necessarily a must for you to know what each one means. I'm still learning what each one means, but yeah, I just thought it would be good to kind of like give you an idea of how that is. So to conclude the video, kind of like a quick recap is we've covered the basics of ChatGPT. You kind of have an idea of what it is now. You now know what it can do, what the capabilities are. You now know what a prompt is, so it's not a word that's going to scare you anymore, I hope. And we are ready. I feel like now we are ready to kind of like get our hands dirty, get to start working with ChatGPT now that we know what it is. And the best way to do it, honestly, is to get started. So in the next video, we're going to create an account. We're going to see if you can use it if you don't really have an account, and the advantages of having an account. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. So peace.